Hi everyone, it's Kim. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. So today I am planning on doing some meal prep, so I thought that I would just grab my phone and grab my tripod and take you along with me. Now some of these are some things that I've made before, some of these are things that I made a while ago, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to link those videos down below, just so that it's going to not only, one, make this video quicker, but two, not be a repeat of something I've already done before. But I want to do these things so that I'm prepared and ready to go. I go back to work in a few days. It's been great having all this time off. I mean, it has been wonderful. What has been crazy though is trying to get my routines together. It just seems like every day right now is different. I mean, you know, when you're working, you go to work every day, you come home, it's the same day-to-day routine, and then on the weekends, you're trying to cram all the stuff in. So I've been super productive during this time off. I got a lot of decluttering done. I did a donation. I have given things to friends and family. I mean, it's been awesome. And I've taken the time to start working on my calendar and my schedule for the upcoming, the upcoming weeks, months, whatever. I don't know about you, but I have a list of to-dos that sometimes gets out of control, or I'll see something that needs to be done and it'll sidetrack me from doing something else. So what I've tried to do while I've been off is I've tried to not stop the current task that I'm on, but I've had a sticky note and a pen sitting on the counter. So what I've done is if I thought about something or I saw something else that needed to be done, I wrote a note on the sticky note saying, you need to do this, and I kept moving on. Because A, for one, it's out of my head. Two, I'm not gonna forget about it. And three, I've got it written down somewhere so that I can either put it into my immediate priorities pile or things that just need to be done that can be done later. So those are kind of the two ways that I'm categorizing things on my list. So with that said, I'm gonna jump around. I already brought up my Instant Pot, my Crock Pot, and my rice cooker, because I'm gonna have all three of them going today. In my Crock Pot, I'm gonna throw together my pasta fagioli soup because A, I love it, and B, I need to have something for lunches when I head back to work in a few days. Okay, slight interruption. So again, pasta fagioli soup going in my crock pot. I'm gonna do refried beans and another new recipe for you in my Instant Pot. So I can't wait to get that one started because that's what I'll be having. Ooh, I might be having that for lunch today, so stay tuned for that. And then in my rice cooker, of course, I'm gonna throw some rice in just because it's easier for me to throw together a batch of brown rice to be able to use throughout the week. So I think that's it. Yeah, so let's go. Okay, so the first thing that I've done is I placed my trivet down into the bottom of my Instant Pot just so that the water does not come in contact with potatoes. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour in 1 cup of water into the Instant Pot. I've got my sweet potatoes washed and ready to go, so I'm just gonna place those in here. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're going to pop the lid on. I'm gonna turn this to sealing. We're gonna pop this on for 29 minutes. Manual, 29 minutes. There it goes. And now it's on. Now we just wait. Okay, so here's another thing that I need to work on. And I'm just gonna lay it all out for you. So today I'm getting ready to, next up, I guess I should say, we're getting ready to make the pasta fagioli soup, right? Now I need a pan, which I do keep a couple extra pans in my oven, but do I really need all those pans in my oven? Maybe my big skillet, yes, or my egg pan, but these baking pans, I don't use those every day. My cookie sheets, I don't know, maybe I can leave those in there, but definitely these two can go. So another thing I need to get on my list of put some things away because you really don't need all that crap. It's slowing me down. If I want to make something really quick or if I want to throw something in the oven, this is definitely slowing me down. So again, another thing I'm going to add to my list, and I'm going to try to just kind of keep you posted on some of the things that I'm working on here because of the fact that This is real life. I mean, you know, everybody has a ton of things on their plates. And I want you guys to know I have the same things. I mean, I'm facing the same things that you guys are facing. So I'm going to grab my pan out, get my ground turkey into, I think I have ground chicken today. Get my ground chicken into the pan, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I have my ground turkey in here. I'm going to add some salt and then some pepper. I really need to get my other pepper thing out. Hold, please. Oh, I still haven't reorganized my spice cabinet either. That's coming up. I'm going to film that for you because I think that might help. Yeah, that's much better. I think that might help all of us. For one, it's going to give me some accountability because I just told you I was going to do it. But number two, maybe it'll help you get motivated to do yours too. So I have 2 pounds of ground chicken in here. I'm going to dump in about a cup of water. And I do this so that it stays moist in the pan, because if you've ever made ground chicken, sometimes it dries out, and this will keep that from happening. So I'm going to throw the lid on, and we're going to just let that do its thing. I'll chop it up as I go along, and then once that's done, we'll start the pasta fagioli soup next. Okay, so in my crock pot, I have the ground chicken, and that's cooked and drained. I've got carrots, onions, and celery over here. I have some white kidney beans, which are called cannellini beans. I know I screw that up every time I say it. I have some light red kidney beans here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to throw in our spices. I need to throw in 2 28-ounce cans of diced tomatoes. I know we're getting pretty full. I'm wondering if this is all going to fit. Wish me luck. All right, got that in there. The next thing we need to throw in is, I'm going to throw in, it calls for spaghetti sauce, but I'm going to throw in marinara sauce, and I just picked this one up. If you watched my recent grocery haul at Aldi's, I thought I would give this a try and see how this one was. Just gonna pour that in there. And this one comes out to be, it's 5 servings per container. And this one comes out to be, I think it said 2 points per serving. I'll throw a little bit of water in here just to get the rest of this out. Please tell me you do that too. I don't know why, but it just seems like maybe it's something my mom always did. I'm not sure. All right, so we've got that in there. The last thing that we have to fit into our crock pot, I grab it's a little, is our beef broth. So let's see if I can fit that in here. Hopefully. I think that's just going to settle in. And I'm putting about 4 cups of beef broth in here. Let's stir that in. I'll get as much in here as I can. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn this on high for about 4 to 5 hours. Probably 4 hours, I think we'll do this one. So, all right, I think that's all the beef broth. I'm going to try to pour a little bit more in. And then, I know, good luck getting my pasta in here later. All right, my pasta I may just make on the stove and just add it to the bowls, but we'll see how that goes. All right, so I'm gonna clean up my mess that I just made. And then I'm gonna turn this on and we're just gonna let this do its thing. And then we're gonna go back and check on my sweet potatoes, which I think just got done. That's gonna be a nice big pot of pasta fagioli soup. All right, I'm gonna throw the lid on this one. Got it right here. We're gonna turn it on and we'll see what's next. We're gonna move this back. And then I'm gonna pull our potatoes out. Oh, they feel nice and soft. Okay, so what they say is true. These are super easy to make. They do come out super creamy and fluffy, and they're perfect. So what I think I'm gonna do is I have some sugar-free caramel sauce and some mini marshmallows. So pretty sure I have mini marshmallows. I'm gonna double check, but I'm gonna go ahead and top this baby. And normally what I would do is put spray butter on it and throw a little bit of Splenda on it. But I think that since it's 0 points, I think I'm gonna splurge a little bit and just kind of have some fun with this one. So I'll throw a picture in here soon. Okay, so I had a fabulous idea. I went downstairs and grabbed my bread maker. I think today is the day of kitchen appliances. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw together a loaf of my bread maker bread. And this bread makes 15 servings, 4 smart points each, but I think it's the perfect thing to go with that low point soup. So it's kind of nice when you can make, you know, a lower point item to go with something that you don't have a whole bunch. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw this together. You see I already have the stuff pre-measured for us. And let's get this started. I'll throw this together. Well, you can kind of come alongside me, and if you have a bread maker, now's the time. Pause the video, grab your bread maker, and I'll tell you the exact ingredients that we need. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that this little paddle is inside your bread maker, because trust me, if you don't have this, you're going to be sorry, because you're going to have to start this recipe all over again. So, funny thing is that I had a bread maker that I used all the time, and finally it was just so old that I quit working. And a couple of years before that, I had bought my mom this bread maker because I'm like, you need to make bread. I mean, I love making homemade bread. And if you've ever had bread making in your house, you know, baking bread in your house, it just smells phenomenal. I mean, there's nothing like homemade, fresh baked bread. So I asked my mom, I'm like, hey, you know, my bread maker broke. I was going to borrow hers. And she's like, I haven't used it since you gave it to me. Or she used it once or something crazy like that. So I went over and I stole her bread maker, and I'm not giving it back. So I'm going to use this one till it dies. And guess what? If this one dies, I will go out and repurchase another one. Glad I remembered this because I haven't used it in a while. And I think now that I have it, I'm going to go ahead and make my tried and true recipe. This recipe I've been making since, I don't know, like December of 2013. I actually took a screenshot of the recipe, so I had pulled it up from All Recipes. But 2013 was the date from my screenshot on this one. So I'm going to try. I've enlisted some help from my friend Lisa to find out if she can help me either tweak this one to make it lower end points, or help me research some new recipes to try for the bread maker. So let me know in the comments below if you would like me to try to find a lower point one, or if you also let me know if you have a bread maker and you don't use it, because that's usually typically what happens. So let's go ahead and get this started. The first thing you want to do is you want to put your wet ingredients at the bottom of your bread maker. So I have 1 cup of warm water. The next thing we're going to do is put in 3 tablespoons. It called for vegetable oil, but I have canola oil here open, so I'm just going to go ahead and use what I have out. I think they're pretty interchangeable. So that's 1, 2, and 3. All right, so that goes in there. The next thing that we want to put in is our flour. Now, the original recipe that I used called for bread flour. I have been using plain white all-purpose flour for years, and it's never made a difference. So, and I always have that on hand. So you want to use basically what you have. I really hate when I have to go buy that one ingredient and then you don't know what to use, to use it for anymore. So you're going to just go ahead and slowly put that on top of the water to where you're covering up. Hold on a second. I guess it's not that loud. To where you're covering up the water, because you don't want your yeast to hit the water. So I'm just going to go ahead and make myself a little divot here. Don't ask me why. It's just something that I've always done. And then I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of white sugar and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. So we've got that in there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in 1 packet of active dry yeast. And let me tell you how committed I was to making this bread today. I went in my cabinet and I was out of yeast. So I ran up to the corner real quick, yes, during my meal prepping, and went ahead and grabbed a 3-pack of the active dry yeast. Looks like this. And I think it was 99 cents for 3. So that gives me three loaves of bread that I can make with this. So I'm just going to cut the top of that off. And each packet contains 2¼ teaspoons of active dry yeast, which is exactly what we need. So I'm going to put that on top. And then I am going to start the bread maker. So I'm just going to scooch back here. Shut the top. There we go. Now it's been a while since I made this. We're just making basic white bread. I think it's already set, so I think we just have to hit our start button. Hold on, I gotta turn this around so I can see it. Set for medium, set for a 2-pound loaf. That's it. So I was right. Just gotta hit the start button. So this is what's gonna happen. If you've never seen a bread maker work, it's gonna start kneading the ingredients and it's going to get it all combined, and what happens after that is it stops and it starts to rise, and then once it's done rising, then it will start the baking process. So basically in 3 hours and 10 minutes, we are going to have some homemade, fresh baked bread. So I will come back and show you what the end result of that is. And now we're going to switch over and I'm going to start getting my refried beans in my Instant Pot so that I have those going. Okay, so this is about the consistency that you want. If it seems a little dry, you can always add just a touch of water. I mean, just a touch. And if it seems to be too wet, you can always just sprinkle in just another, like maybe a teaspoon of flour. But again, this is what you want when you're making bread. So I'm going to shut this back down so that I keep the heat and moisture in there. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so in my Instant Pot, I went ahead and sorted through my pinto beans and rinsed those and threw them in the pot. I've got my garlic, so you see my garlic, my cumin, the salt, and the pepper. I apologize for my nails. I was going to go get them done this morning, but I decided I would prep instead, so that's going to wait till tomorrow. So I've got those in there. I'm going to dump in 1 onion. And you don't have to be really particular or have that cut up any certain way because of the fact that it's just all going to come together later anyway. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in 1/2 of a jalapeno. And if you haven't seen me do this before, what I do is when I buy the jalapenos, I just go ahead and, most of the time I ask my husband to do it, but I just go ahead and chop the jalapenos. And then I put a little bit of water in the bag and then freeze them. And the reason why I do that is because they come out like that and I don't have to chop jalapenos each time I make this recipe. And I do make this recipe a lot. So at least now my jalapenos are there, they're fresh, they're good to go, and I don't have to worry about those. So we have our onion, our pinto beans, our jalapeno, our garlic, our salt, our pepper, our cumin. The last thing that we have to do is add our water in. And again, exact measurements will be in the recipe video link below. So I've got 4 cups of water going in here. And then I'm going to add another 4 cups. You want anywhere between 8 and 9 cups of water in your Instant Pot. I'm just doing like heaping for 4 cups. There we go. And I am using a 6-quart Instant Pot. I forgot to say that earlier. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this on manual, high pressure for 48 minutes. And then when that gets done, I'm just going to go ahead and let that do a natural release, which means we're just going to let it come out of its pressure mode by itself. And then I will drain the juice and then grab my immersion blender and just go ahead and mix these up for refried beans. Now, I know I've said this before, but if you like a nice pinto bean soup with phenomenal flavor, you can go ahead and scoop yourself out a bowl before you make your refried beans. Or you can just serve this as a bean soup, whichever you prefer. But super good that way. I mean, super good. So I may do that. I may go ahead and scoop me out a bowl so I can have a bowl of bean soup too. And if you do not have an immersion blender, no big deal. I didn't have one when I first started making these, and I just used a potato masher or just mashed these on my own using whatever method I could use to mash the beans. So you do you. And if you are going to make these all the time, I would highly suggest you invest in an immersion blender. They're like $25. It's not really a bad price, but it does really make this recipe come together really good. I have put them in my food processor. I have used an electric mixer. I mean, there's several ways that you can do it, but I like the consistency that the immersion blender brings. But enough of that said, I'm going to go ahead and get this one started, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do my rice off camera. You've seen me do the rice in my rice cooker before. And I think that was it. I'm going to go ahead and do overnight oats because I do those. I'm going to make up 2 of those for Thursday and Friday for when I go back to work. And I think that's it. So I will come back. I'll snap a picture or a quick shot of the bread when that gets done. And, you know, I'll bring you back. I'll bring you back when we finish up the refried beans too. So stay tuned. We'll finish up the refried beans. I'll show you the bread. And then I think that that's going to be it for today's meal prep. But again, every little bit that you can do will save you some time. So just take a few minutes, take an hour, take 2 hours, prep every week. And I really, like I said, with me being off work for so long, it was kind of threw me off my game a little bit. So I'm kind of excited to be back in the swing of things. So hopefully this has helped you too. What else do I do need to make, we're having Big Mac wraps, so I do have a pound of 96.4 lean hamburger meat. I may go ahead and brown that too because I'm going to have some time in between waiting for that. So, same process I used for the ground chicken. I'm just going to dump it in the pan with some water and brown it, and then I'll drain it. But one of the benefits of doing that is that you'll have that ready and you can just microwave it really quick and you can get dinner on the table fast. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back at you and then we'll talk about refried beans. Okay, I figured you might be tired of looking at the beans. So with your Instant Pot, you want to put that on sealing so that it comes to pressure, because if you don't put it on sealing, it won't come to pressure. So definitely remember to do that step. I know that when I first got mine, that was always a big fear of forgetting to actually put that on the sealing mode. So for my pasta fagioli soup, I'm going to go ahead and boil that pasta in a different pan because of the fact that there's no room. I need a bigger crock pot. Honey, if you're listening, I need a new crock pot. So that's going to definitely be on my radar. I'm going to try to watch for an 8-quart crock pot because, maybe even a 7-quart would work. But definitely going to have to upgrade that one. That one is getting kind of old. Shh. Maybe he stopped listening after I said I wanted it, but definitely I'm going to have to start researching a 7-quart. All right, so with that said, I'm going to jump over and I'm going to get my hamburger meat cooked up and get that rolling, and I think that's it. I think that's all I want to tell you for now, but I definitely wanted to jump on and tell you about that. There was something else I was going to tell you, but I can't remember what it is, so maybe it'll come to me as I'm working through, so hang tight, I might pop back on. Okay, our beans just got done. Ready? Check them out. Guess I should have a spoon. Okay. Okay, now I have a spoon. Check it out. Nice, yummy beans. Let's see if I can grab one here. Nice, soft. Look at that. Mash up real easy. That's how you know they're nice and done. So what I'm going to do is, since these just got done, I'm going to let this cool off, and then I'll drain the juice, and then I will take my immersion blender and mash these down for our refried beans. So first of all, I'm going to grab a bowl out because I told you I was going to, and it smells so good. I can't wait to try them. And then I will, again, wait till they cool off, and then we'll make some refried beans together. And I think my bread, hold on, I'm going to take you over here next. Okay, our bread has 29 minutes left, 28 minutes. And look, it's got a little crack at the top. It's baking right away. So, cannot wait till that gets done. It's going to be so good. All right, the next project we have is, hold please. All right, our soup has been going for just over 4 hours. I think I'm going to let it go for 1 more hour. And just to make sure that those onions and everything got soft enough. And then I'm going to go ahead and make my pasta to go in it. It's been a long day. It's so funny, when I started doing the meal prep today, it was around noon. And I've just kind of been putzing on and off. And again, some of the things that I made did take a little longer to make. So now it's like dark out. So now I'm going to have to adjust my lighting, I think, just to finish up this, the filming for today. So stay tuned. I got a couple more things I want to show you, and then I will wrap this up for today. Okay, so I pulled my beans out of the Instant Pot, and I always just drain it. I kind of have you half on each. So I drain it into a bowl just in case I need any of the juice to make them, sometimes they're too thick. So I'm just going to go ahead and drain those. I'm going to dump them back into my Instant Pot. Set that there for you. Now I have my immersion blender. I'll see if I can do this. Kind of looks like this. I'll take a picture of the box and put it here just so you'll see it. But got that plugged in, and I'm just going to go ahead and make these into refried beans. It comes together really easy. I'm not sure if this is going to be loud. If this is too loud, I'm going to cut the rest of this out, but I'll just kind of generally talk to you while I do this. So, again, I don't mind if the beans have chunks in them, so I don't completely make them, smooth, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I just like to go all the way around. And honestly, I could totally be doing this wrong. So if you're sitting around laughing because I'm using the wrong technique for doing this, it's totally fine. But this is, I've never watched anybody use an immersion blender before. But in my head, the way it's made, that's kind of how it looks like it should be used. So feel free to correct me in the comments. So I'm just going to let that go. That looks good to me. So I've got those done. Super excited about those. I'll give you a little closer look here of those. I'll try to get you off the tripod real easy. You can see my other bowl of soup over there. But look at those refried beans. I think they're perfect. I don't need to add anything else to them. I think they're perfect the way they are. So super excited. What I'm going to do with these is I'm going to set some in the fridge. And then my nails look awful. Don't look at them. I'm going to set some of these in the fridge, and then I'm going to turn around and freeze the rest of them into 2 more batches so that I have 3 batches of these ready to roll. All right, so I'm going to switch you over. Let's take a look at the bread. It just got done. All right, opening. And there we go. Now, it is showing a little darker, in the pot. I mean, it looks a little lighter on film, but looks amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, let it cool off, and then I will cut this. And typically what I do is I cut it in half this way, like this way, and then I cut it in half slices, and that always works out well for us. But the bread's amazing. I can't wait to give that a try. All right, so I think that's it. I still have not made my pasta. I still have to do that, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and wrap things up here. I'm sure you've seen people make pasta all day long. So I'm going to throw that in a pot of water and be done with that. But with that said, Thanks again for watching. Thanks for sticking around. I hope that you saw something you liked today, and I hope that you enjoyed prepping with me. So let me know in the comments if you have made any of the items that I've made today. And I think that's it. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.